Hello, Growing Faith. It is my assignment today to talk to you about fasting. So I want to preference uh, this little devotional before I start. Fasting is not something that I practice all the time. Um, in fact, I only fast before I preach normally. Um, I don't fast at other times during the year. I've never fasted for a long period of time. Um, um, but it is part of our heritage. It's part of who we are. In Jewish tradition, there was over 25 different holidays that they fasted for. The main one, or the biggest one, was Yom Kippur. It was the Day of Atonement, and they sustained from food. And so, as you very well know, we're studying in the book of Nehemiah. And in chapter 1, Nehemiah uh, records these words. It says, Now when I heard these words, I sat down and wept. Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 4. And I mourned for days, and I was fasting and praying before the God of heaven. And I beseech you, Lord, O God of heaven, the great and awesome God, who preserves the covenant and loving kindness uh, for those who love him and keep his commandments. Let your ear be attentive to and your eyes open to hear the prayer of your servant, which I am praying. And he goes on to pray for the children of Israel. Um, and as you very well know, um, um, God scattered the children of Israel like he said he would. And so Jerusalem was in dire straits, and the walls were broken. And as we go through Nehemiah, we'll begin to see some different things. And so Nehemiah's heart is beating for his people. And so he is asking God to forgive their sin and heal their land and bring them back to the rightful place that God created them to be. And so he asked them to forgive their sin. And so you can fast for forgiveness. You can fast for healing. You can fast for direction. There's all kinds of different things that you can fast for. Um, and so you can fast for a day. You can fast for a meal. You can fast for several days. I know that there's a 21-day fast that people do. So you can do all kind of different fasts for different things. Um, but the idea is that you're sanctifying or separating yourself, mind, body, and soul, to God. And if you heard Pastor Terrence's message today about, have a plan or make a plan, you noticed before Nehemiah ever had a plan that he fasted and prayed. And it seems to me that as I read different scriptures and different holidays through the Old Testament and through Jewish tradition, it seems like fasting and prayer kind of go hand in hand. And so I would encourage you, as we go on this fast and as you do your fast, however that works for you and whatever God puts in your heart, and that I would encourage you then to be prayerful and be praying about the things that you're asking God to do in your life and do in your family and do on your job or in your finances, whatever it is you're asking God or whatever it is that you want God to do. In this hour, I believe that we should be fasting for the lost. I believe that we are in the end times and that it won't be long before Jesus appears, and we should be fasting and praying, God, what can we do in this hour to enlighten the world, because we are the light of the world, being children of God. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 18, Jesus says these words. He said, "Beware of practicing." Uh, uh, I'm sorry, chapter 6, verse 18, it says, "Whenever you fast, do not put a gloomy face on as the hypocrites do, for they neglect their appearance so that they will be noticed by men when they are fasting. Truly, I say to you, they have the reward in full. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face so that your fasting will not be noticed by men. But your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." So what Jesus is saying here is that when you fast, that um, especially if you sustain from food for days at a time, you should be showered and cleansed and smelling good, and your body shouldn't have the appearance of that you're sustaining from food. You shouldn't appear to men that you're doing what you're doing, because what you're doing unto God. And much like in the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah sought God first before he ever sought man. And so I want to encourage you that before you seek finances or healing in your body or things in this realm, you should first seek God and first find out what God's plan is and what God says about your situation. And then when the door presents itself or opens itself to you, you will be prepared spiritually, physically, and emotionally to put your prayer request before God and now before man, so that the things that you fasted for will come to pass. And so if in fact fasting has power on a personal basis, then it would have more power in my mind on a collective basis. And so when we begin to do this as a church, collectively, with one mind, one accord, then we'll see breakthroughs personally, but we'll also see breakthroughs collectively. And so again, I want to encourage you that as the days are getting darker and the times are getting more evil, that we should be the light of the world. And so while you're fasting, I would like to encourage you to fast or pray that God would bring lost people before us, that we might minister them effectively and we might increase the kingdom for the glory of God. God bless you and God keep you.